Bernard Tobin here at the Farm Smart Conference and catching up now with Tim May. Now, Tim, you may know better as Farmer Tim. He's a dairy farmer from Rockwood, Ontario, and he's been doing social media for about 3 years, and you've really become a rock star.
Oh, I wouldn't consider myself a rock star. I still pretty much just a farmer. That's what I do, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if Farm Smart wasn't actually 10 minutes from the farm, I probably wouldn't have been here. So it got me out of my comfort zone, and I was really happy to be here today.
Yeah, and you said that earlier. So you're just the farmer down the road, and you're doing something that's pretty important for agriculture. You're advocating. And talk about how this started. It's an amazing story. 35,000 followers on Twitter, and on social media, including Twitter, Facebook. 44 countries. You have followers in 44 countries. How did it all start?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Well, I've always kind of been a bit of an educator by nature. We had a lot of school tours of our farm, and the teachers would always come out and introduce me as Farmer Tim. So that's how the name Farmer Tim got started. I've always enjoyed educating. I don't know, I graduated actually here from Guelph back in '94, back in the days when there was no social media. So I was very resistant to social media. My wife was on Facebook. I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. So I tried Facebook, and I think naturally I started sharing my life with non-farmers. And like the non-farmers on my page and friends and family, they found it interesting. And then a lot of people encouraged me to go public. So I went public. It was a little scary, but that's how it all started, and I've been doing it since.
I want to ask you why, because this is a big commitment of your time. I think one of the things you talked about is you feel it's your responsibility.
Well, I do. Like I said, when I got on social media, I resisted it for so long. I saw all the misinformation on there, and I thought, this is crazy. And I know that farmers are less than 2% of the population. We don't have much of a voice, so everyone needs to lend their voice in whatever way they can. They don't have to be on social media. They could just be, talking to your neighbor over the fence or volunteering at a fair or something. But if you can be on social media, it's a great way to spread out your story. So I think from what I saw on social media, the misinformation, that farmers, especially me, need to take responsibility and get their message out there.
For farmers who don't follow you on Facebook and don't really know your story, tell us people about how you do it. What do you do? It's a pretty simple approach.
Well, it is pretty simple. So people need to trust you if they want to learn from you or if they want to hear what you say, they need to trust you first. So I make people realize that I'm just like them. I'm an average person. I have a family. We're part of the community. We go to the same grocery stores they do. We buy food. We're consumers as well. I try to make them realize, I'm a fun person. Like, I'll try to entertain on Facebook. I'm shy by nature, but actually on social media, you can portray yourself as I am an honest, fun guy, but you can have a lot of fun on social media. So it's just a way to gain trust, is just to show people that you're just like them. I'll share my good days with them, bad days, to let them know that, I have feelings and emotions. Of course, I'll share my farm and my farm life, so they realize that stuff that they see that's propaganda and animal rights propaganda and stuff isn't really the truth. So I show them the truth, very open about what my life's like.
One of the interesting things here as well is you'll admit it, you're a shy guy. This is probably not the easiest sort of pastime you would ever take on, but you do it. Talk about that and why, as I say, other farmers could and should do it.
Well, exactly. I am shy. This is a big deal to get up talk in front of a bunch of people. The more you do it, the easier it is. But they asked me last year, and I thought, oh no, I can't do it. But I got up and did it. I'm glad I did. I think part of being an advocate is encouraging other people to speak up as well. But I do it because it works. So, it's busy having that many followers. There's a lot of follow-up. But it's the people that, they thank you for speaking up on their behalf. Maybe it's a farmer that they don't want to be on social media, and they say, well, thanks for speaking up for us. It could be a consumer that didn't know much about agriculture or thought that all farmers were bad, and they start following you and realize that, they're not so bad. It could be the vegan who helped me realize that we do take care of our animals, and they've become vegetarian and letting some dairy in their diet now. And I always remind people, I'm not trying to force you to pick your food choices. You can choose to eat whatever you want. It's the misinformation I'm fighting.
Another interesting aspect, Tim, is, farmers, we tend to think what we do is ordinary, but I think the followers that you have tend to think it's extraordinary.
Well, exactly. And I think every farm, that's the cool thing about farmers. Every farm's different. Everyone farms their own way. Everyone has their highlights and stuff that's really cool about their farm. And those are the things you need to highlight. Because we're less than 2% of the population, it's, like I said, we're kind of like rock stars. We're cool. Like, farming is cool again. Back in my grandmother's day, there was more farmers around. It's more commonplace. But now, if you introduce yourself as a farmer, it's like, oh, wow, that must be so much work. Or what's it like? What time you get up in the morning every day? Simple questions like that. But no, it really is working.
Tell us about the time involved. People say, hey, wow, there's so many posts, so many great photos. What's the time involved?
Well, to actually post stuff, like when I get up in the morning, I don't know what I'm going to post. So that's a cool thing about a farm, because there's always something different happens every day. Something comes up. You need a bit of imagination, but I think something, that's kind of ordinary and everyday to me, but someone else might think that's kind of cool. So take a photo of it, write something, maybe a little bit of humor mixed with education, and then I'll post it. So that's the easy part. So there are comments. The more followers you have, there's more comments that you try to follow up with, and it's the behind the scenes, the private messages, which are a bit of a challenge, but it's very satisfying at the end of the day. It can be more work than it should be for something you're not getting paid for, but it is satisfying.
I want to wrap this up with a perspective that you shared, and it's about the attitudes towards consumers. I mean, and you, I think your last slide said, if you farm today, thank a consumer, and it really is just turn around the paradigm a little bit about how we view the consumer and how we need to interact, and really it's a guiding force for you.
Exactly. Sometimes we have on my page, especially if a consumer asks a question, it could be a little bit harsh or critical of what we do, but I'm trying to encourage them to ask those questions, and we need to answer politely. Like, if they're not going to ask them, they're going to get their information from somewhere else. So I really do believe that we need to thank the consumers. Most consumers actually do support us, and those people need to be reminded that we really are thankful for their support. And farmers play the victim sometimes too often. We blame everyone else for the not realizing or not knowing as much about agriculture, but we need to get our message out there. So it's not our fault really, but we need to do a better job to get those people educated, and we need to thank those consumers that always have our back.
I get a sense this has been a very rewarding experience for you as well.
Oh, extremely rewarding. You've got to know, like, I have a mixture of farmers and non-farm followers, so and we learn from each other. So I try to educate, but I get educated back. I've realized that no matter where you farm in the world, everyone's pretty much the same. They all have the same passion for what they do. They all love their livestock. They have the same issues with social media and with activists and stuff. Consumers have the same kind of questions no matter where they are in the world. And consumers are really great. They really appreciate what I do. They thank me for what I do, and it's been very rewarding.
Well, sir, hey, thank you for taking the time. We'll keep following, and I know there will be more people to come.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.